Hello and welcome. My name is Errity and this is Wise Woman Television, and today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on what dreams will you accomplish this year, or what dreams will you accomplish in 2021. You can take it whichever way. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you watch this, it's going to be relevant for you, but I am doing this in the new year of 2021. So what dreams will you accomplish this year? That's what we will be going over today. I do encourage you to stick around. Thank you so much for being a part of this family. I do want to let you know I offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions and longer term programs to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. And if you love your reading, if you appreciate your reading, if you enjoy your reading, I encourage you to like, to subscribe, to support this channel as I support you. And I look forward to getting to your reading. So from here, I will place up a picture of the 4 card piles today. We are doing 4, so I will do that now. All right, so card pile 1. We are going over what are you accomplishing this year? What dreams are you going to accomplish? So the first thing that's coming through very clearly is you're going to take control of your life. Take control of your destiny. You are deciding to take back the reins, to take back control, to be the captain of your ship, and to move toward what it is you want to do. So you might very well be the person who gave up, or the person who never tried at all, or the person who had a lot of excuses, or the person who gave your power away and didn't assume responsibility for yourself and for your results. And yet, this year, this changes. This is a big change for you. This is a transformation for you. You are taking back the reins, calling back your power, and moving forward from this place of, feels like a strong sense of self. It feels like what's self-possessed, where you know yourself, you know what you're capable of, and you have decided that you are going to make this life what you desire to make of it. Okay, so you might have a vision for yourself, you might have a dream for yourself, you might have had something that was sort of sitting there for a long time, just kind of getting stale, and this is the year where you decide to move forward. You've decided no more excuses, no more BS. I am moving forward no matter what. There's a level of resolve within you that just wasn't there before. And through clearing out some of the old excuses and BS and just any of the stories that you might have subscribed to, or your old narratives, or whatever it was that put you in a place of just not owning your full power and not taking full responsibility, you've cleared that out, you've cleaned the slate, you've decided to kind of step into this new path with your 2 feet. You're anchoring it in. You are ready to rock. You have taken back the reins to your life. So this next year is all going to be about you taking back the reins and you deciding to do with it what you will. So you get to take this horse cart wherever you want to go, because ultimately when you take full responsibility, now you can do whatever the heck you want with your life. I do feel like some of you have a bigger dream and vision for yourself. The dream or vision isn't clear. Maybe we'll get more of that as we go. It could be because we have a larger group here, or just because what's most relevant for you, card pile 1, is taking that responsibility once and for all and moving toward that North Star of yours, and that you are going to make significant headway and progress this year as a result of doing this, of taking this responsibility. And it feels like you end up getting to a place where you have found such a resolve in this and such a conviction in this that you make significant headway, significant progress, and that you also do so from a place of not caring, or not that you don't care about the results you do, but that you're not putting undue weight or influence on the results, like the cart before the horse kind of thing. It's like, no, you have the reins and the horse cart, and you aren't putting the cart before the horse, expecting the results before you've shown up. Now you see that you show up and then life shows up for you. And so you are doing that, and that's what's it actually changes the course of your life. This change this year changes the direction of your life in such a way that your life actually begins to reflect what it is you want for yourself. And that's because you are making decisions from a place of accountability, and that you are making the choices that are important and that matter to you. So like, you are taking back the reins, and because of that, you ultimately are able to manifest whatever it is that you want. And you make significant progress and headway this year. That is what's guaranteed, and that is what I feel in the energy for this reading. Okay, so the first thing that I am seeing is you had some kind of, actually I have some emotion happening here, because you had some divine shift, some divinely ordained shift or transformation or healing that came to you. And for some of you, it was sudden. For some of you, it was unexpected. all of a sudden something was revealed to you such that you were able to stand in this place of power. So it was very much divinely ordained. This was a gift. This was intended for you and meant for you. Something happened that helped you see something, like everything clicked. And from there, you were able to see the light. And it feels miraculous in nature. And it doesn't mean that your experience was miraculous. Like suddenly, E.T. showed up and was like, ah, and that's just a relevant, funny example. That's from Errity. That's not in the reading. Because I do try to give examples for the energy that comes through and for what I'm sharing. And it's like, it feels miraculous, meaning it was miraculous to you. It held this much weight. It held this much power. It was this transformational. And you're recognizing what a massive shift and monumental shift this gets to bring to you. So you are incredibly grateful. You see the miracle and you're owning it. And you've seen the light and you know exactly what to do now. And it's interesting too, because again, I'm getting that kind of being emptied of the attachment to results or this expectation that things have to be a certain way or something. Again, the cart before the horse. You shed that in this revelation, in this miracle, in this vision, whatever it was that was gifted to you, the seed that was planted, this shooting star, so to speak, this light that was awakened within you. You were able to sort of shed these attachments that you had. So again, because it was almost like you took full responsibility, meaning you're not waiting for anything else to show up or waiting for anything or anyone to do it for you. You're going to do it. And so now you can assume it will be done, right? And so you don't really have a question about the results or a particular concern with the outcome and all that stuff. You're focusing on you and what you need to do. And there's a conviction and a resolve in there that you're going to bring about the results no matter what. So it really doesn't matter what else is going on. All that stuff is like sideline news, irrelevant. You got this kind of energy, okay? Yeah. Excuse me, I can't tell you the number of cards here. It's about taking the step, initiating, bringing something into form, taking the steps, taking the action. Like once and for all, you are taking action. You are feeling heart-led. You are feeling moved by spirit. Again, there's a divinity here, a power here, something that's really beautiful, that is coming through in your reading card pile 1 about life leading you, life guiding you, spirit moving through you, and you're feeling it more powerfully than ever. You are in a space of just conviction, of flow, of momentum, of owning it, and just, it's like, again, and I love this, I'll show you this card. I don't show all the cards anymore. That's how I started my readings, and then I started showing them all, but I found it kind of tripped me up at times in what I was sharing because the energy just flows, and so every time I had to stop and look at the card or show a card, it would kind of throw me off. So I show some of them. And so look at you again, eyes are closed, not even caring about what's happening outside, not even caring about the external reflection, not even caring of getting caught up in the cart before the horse or the cart itself. It's like you're just living by spirit, living by the whim of spirit, living by the movement of spirit, living by the impulse, divinely guided, divinely orchestrated. Like you are moving on the path of your heart. That is what is guiding and leading you. It's not because you're looking outside of you being like, oh, this is the reason I have to do this, or I can't do this because of that, or why hasn't this happened yet? Honestly, you're not even in that place anymore. It's just not relevant to you. That stuff has fallen away because you have taken ultimate responsibility. So now you can close your eyes. You can trust when you are moved by spirit, you move. And then that's all there is to it. You just keep on moving. Again, I'm feeling strong headway, strong movement, strong progress this year for you, card pile 1, toward what it is that you want. You've had an idea or a vision for what you want for your life for a very long time. Many of you, I'm feeling, value freedom. Many of you value sovereignty. So these values brought about in whatever your particular life or vision is for yourself, that's ultimately what you end up bringing about. That ultimate vision, that ultimate value of I value freedom, I value sovereignty. You might have other values too, but those are the ones that are coming through. And so you build a life that honors that. You're building and working toward a vision that honors that. And you make significant headway and progress this year. Yep. Again, what do we get? Another card. This is the Fool. This is in the Osho Zen Tarot, and the Fool and the Tarot both are about new beginnings, kind of taking the bull by the horns, but doing so in such a light, fanciful, easeful energy, meaning you're not putting so much pressure on it, not putting so much pressure on yourself. There's not a lot of heavy weight here. This isn't an anchor that you're just lugging around and carrying like a lot of luggage. That's not at all what this is for you. You are light, you are fancy free, you are light on your step. This is joyful for you. This is playful for you. This is enjoyable. You are sort of jumping into this as someone, again, the Fool can be seen as naive. There's that light, fanciful energy about it, but the good and the benefit and the value of owning that fool's energy is sort of like that seeing something with fresh eyes, seeing something like a child. There's a level of innocence to it, of play, of just enjoying it, not making it so bold and intense or busy or stressful or pressureful. It's just you, venturing out. It's you starting something new, and again, being guided by spirit, and nothing else really matters, right? It's you, and I hope that the word or the term or whatever it is that I'm wanting to give words to the certain energy that's here, and I'm just not able to articulate it in this moment, hence the tripping up over here. Of course, when I'm pulling cards, that's what happens. That's why I tend to try to speak without it. However, I do want to show you this card because you're getting like every single card in these decks about taking action, bringing something into form, making progress, making headway, making movement, initiating a journey from a place of innocence and no strings attached. That's it, no strings attached. Oh my gosh, another divinely guided, maybe even guarded too. This is protected, this is safeguarded. That does feel relevant. So what you're creating is not only important to you, it's what you came here to create, it's what you're meant to create. You're meant to manifest this stuff for yourself. Whatever it is that you're moving toward, it's heaven sent. You can trust it. You can trust it. And again, eyes are closed. We have two people. Eyes are closed. And even the first card that we pulled earlier, she's caught, she's swept up in divine inspiration, and she's moving forward. That's it. You think she's not looking down, is she? She's not looking down at her suitcase or at her feet or where she's heading. She's following the impulse of God, great spirit universe. She's caught up and she's swept up in the inspiration. Both of these, eyes are closed, listening to the heart. All of this is divinely guided. You've been moved, you've had a nudge, a revelation, inspiration. Something has awakened within you, and you are unstoppable this year. Okay, yes. So the visions that you have carried for your life, your life's visions that you've seen, that you've known, that maybe even felt in your bones. Maybe these were actual dreams that you had while sleeping, or maybe they were daydreams or just dreams or visions that you have for yourself. You've kind of seen beyond illusion. You've seen what's possible for yourself. Your soul has sort of dropped some breadcrumbs for you and planted some seeds, so you know, or at least have a feeling of what's possible for you. I feel like you're a feeler in a lot of ways, so not all of you maybe will see it or see it clearly or even know it clearly, but you feel it. And again, you might feel resonant with freedom, resonant with sovereignty. You feel resonant with freedom, resonant with sovereignty, and you start to build a life that is in alignment with those values. You're being guided by how you want to feel. Some of you are even being guided by this vision that you've always known or known clearly or been given to or gifted by. But I feel like a lot of you, you know where you stand in your life and how you feel. And if it doesn't feel resonant, and if it doesn't feel aligned, and if it doesn't feel light, and it feels heavy or like baggage or any of the other stuff that we talked about earlier, where there's all these strings attached and all this stuff, that's not how you're meant to walk through your life, and that's how you know, does it resonate? You're looking for vibration. Card pile 1, you're a vibration type of person. So you must be a feeler, you must be sensitive, spiritual, whatever. And so you know when something matches as based on how you feel there. And if you don't, then it's not for you, and you're starting just to move until you feel more and more resonant, more and more resonant, more and more resonant, more and more in alignment. And you find that ultimately by following your heart and what it's telling you about where you're going and the steps that you're taking, the choices that you're making, if that makes sense. And we keep getting this, being guided by the inner voice, the inner nudge, the inner wisdom, the inner feeling, the inner resonance, as opposed to, making a plan. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to be planned or structured or have some kind of schematic or structure to this to sort of help you build. But what I am getting from the energy in these cards, specifically for you, card pile 1, is that you are being guided by spirit. You're being nudged by spirit. You're being nudged by the heart, by the passions in your heart. You may not even know what, why, or how. I feel like a lot of you don't know any of that stuff. You just know what feels right and what doesn't, and you're moving toward what is in alignment for you. And you're making that choice to live by your heart. You had this revelation, this awakening of personal power, of sovereignty, of personal responsibility. And from that place, you are now recognizing that you are looking for frequency, a certain kind. You're looking for a particular vibration. So you might not even know or have a particular dream or vision. You just know more or less what's wrong for you. And slowly and surely, as you make choices, you're going to find out what's right by what vibrates for you. Like, of course, everything vibrates, but right? What is your sweet spot in card pile 1. That's what you accomplished this year. You move into greater alignment. You move into greater resonance. You are making significant headway and progress toward what you want to create for yourself, toward a life that feels right within you, that feels aligned for you, that is ultimately what your soul has in store for you. That's what you journey toward and accomplish in 2021. So good for you, card pile 1. That was a lovely reading, very beautiful reading. I do encourage you, if you enjoyed this, or if it resonated, to like, to subscribe, also to share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions and other programs to support you in your life and your work and on your spiritual path. So do reach out if that lands for you, and I will see you next time. Okay, card pile 2. What will you accomplish this year? So this could be what will you accomplish in 2021, because that's when I am filming this, in the beginning of the year. However, this is a timeless reading. Whenever this lands in your lap is when it lands for you. Okay, so what are you accomplishing in 2021 or this year? So card pile 2, you are deciding to go out on your own. Now, I don't know if this means you're leaving a relationship, a family of origin, an old work identity, an old profession, but you've decided once and for all to trust yourself, your authentic self, what you know is ultimately right and good and best for you, and you're venturing out on your own. You're deciding to take the road less traveled, off the beaten path. You aren't going to be doing things the way that maybe even you expected, but certainly not the way society would expect, or what you thought would be in store for you, what your family expected for you. Many of you are having to carve your path, meaning you're a trailblazer of sorts, and a lot of times we see trailblazers with machetes, right? They're literally having to carve their path, and a lot of you might be doing that this year. You're carving your path away from the norm, the customary, what was expected of you or expected for you, maybe even what you expected for yourself. But some of you, I feel like, sort of moving away from your family of origin and their ways or what they expected, moving away from an old identity. Maybe you had a profession that no longer lights you up, but in some way, some of you might be leaving a relationship even, but you're going out on your own. There is something here about this. Here I go again on my own. I'm not even a great singer, but I'm just going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. And I can't even hit the right tunes, but the singers are probably like, oh, Errity, if only I could help you, I know it's not terrible. I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I'm just being honest. But that's the vibe that I'm getting. Like, you decide to go out on your own, and it doesn't feel like, Eeyore, I'm walking again on my own. No, it feels like you're ready for this. You're prepped, you're primed, you're equipped. If the right time is now, you're feeling it, and you are ready. You are ready to get out on your own and to do the damn thing, whatever it is for you, because I'm not getting a particular vision. And it's interesting, so far I haven't gotten a particular vision or accomplishment. It's like what you are doing and what's happening this year as a result. So we'll see. So you're trusting yourself, you're getting in touch with your authentic nature, you're getting in touch with what you truly deeply want, with what you ultimately want for your life, and you're finding that the old stuff wasn't that, and so you are having to walk away from an old identity, an old path, an old way of being, an old lifestyle, whatever, to venture out and really honor who you are on the inside. So yes, what is happening here is, again, you're coming to life. So perhaps your previous chapter or this previous identity or this previous era, it might have been something that was comfortable or safe or familiar, but it wasn't something that really lit you up. When you're honest with yourself, it wasn't something that inspired you, that moved you. It wasn't something that fulfilled you. It was like you were just kind of going with the motions, and one thing led to another, and you found yourself there. So for some of you, I am feeling like you kind of wake up in a family and a marriage that maybe it doesn't speak to you anymore at a deep soul level. But this could be any number of things, because earlier I felt too, like leaving workplace, old professional identity, stuff like that. Some of you, I feel like, you could be even younger, a young adult, and you're leaving home for the first time, or maybe the first few times. You might have gone back home and now you're leaving again. So I am feeling like different examples coming up here, but ultimately you're recognizing that this wasn't what was lighting you up. It was maybe even easy, like it was just the way that was sort of paved for you, and it was like the automatic result of your conditioning, kind of like that feeling of, everyone in my family was a lawyer, so I became a lawyer. And then you wake up one day and you're like, why am I a lawyer? Or it could be something like, you're kind of following the path and you meet your high school sweetheart, and of course you guys get married and you have some kids, and it's all just natural, right? It's flowing, it's effortless. And then you wake up one day, you're like, oh wow, like, was this actually what I really wanted for myself? And you might be questioning that, right? But for those of you in card pile 2, though, you've already known this, it's come to completion, and you are going out on your own this year. Okay, that is what you are accomplishing. Here I go again on my own. It's such a good song, like, right? That should be on in the background just for fun. And so you decide to sort of venture into the unknown, venture into uncertainty. So a lot of you might even have some worries or concerns, and you might even be either holding yourself back. Again, I feel like you do venture out on your own this year. However, you're kind of walking with some lingering insecurities because you've always sort of done this other thing and done it another way. So you have a little bit of concern for yourself. You're wondering if you can make it out on your own. You're wondering how it'll all work out. And the thing is, card pile 2, you don't have any certainty. And it's showing here in the energy, like, you don't have that certainty. You're out in the unknown. You don't know for sure. There's no safety net to catch you, but you go out anyway. Like, you do this. I am sensing some reservation, so just acknowledging that for yourself, owning that, and continuing to move forward. That's all you have to do. You can own, I'm scared. I've never done this before. I do have some reservations. Will this work out? You know, will this work out for me? You know, if you have a family involved, it's okay to have those worries. You can acknowledge those things. That's an important part of the process in the healing and growth journey. And yet, this is ultimately what helps you to come alive, to feel creative, to feel empowered, to feel enriched, to feel like you have a vibrant life, a life that does move, fulfill, and inspire you. This is the year that all of this begins. Now, I will say that it's already underway. That process and change is underway, which is why you're even able to take this initiatory step, to take the initiative to walk away or to start anew or to start again. But, so that it's already underway. I don't want to act like, this is before you've done it, because a lot of you have already taken some action steps, but this is definitely the year that you move forward and move toward what you want. Yeah. So you're giving yourself permission to honor yourself. You're giving yourself permission to honor your authentic desires. You're giving yourself permission to free yourself from the chains that have bound you to a reality, a life, a dream that expired, that has grown stale, that is no longer true for you. You've uncovered a new inspiration, a new desire, and you're ready to honor that. Look at this beautiful change that comes through. Look at that. To me, that just feels so incredibly like the rise of the phoenix, desire, honoring your desires, being born again, born into your own light, born into your truest freedom, born again into your own authentic nature, honoring your inner creator, honoring your soul, honoring the heart that beats, honoring the fire that burns. So that's what's coming through here. And it feels so beautiful, so profound, so incredible. Because let me show you this first card. Look at the energy here when you're venturing on your own. You're maybe a little bit unsure, but you're doing it. You're moving forward. You're trusting yourself. You're willing to go out there, even though there's no certainty, there's no safety net, but you do it anyway. And ultimately what you discover is yourself. Whoa. And from there, you're able to manifest whatever the heck you want. You're already doing it. You're on your way. You've already doing it. You're already doing it, or you've already done it. And please know what you want is realized. What you want is realized. Yeah, so you've given yourself permission. You might still be working on giving yourself permission to let yourself be you, to let yourself honor your desire, letting your desire be justification enough, because this change it feels like for some of you or many of you, will have impact on other people. So you're working through that, and yet you're not going to let it hinder you. This year you do not. You do move forward, and you recognize the impact that it has on others, and you still honor and ultimately give yourself permission to move forward and to do as you so desire. There's a great alchemy and change and healing that is taking place right now. Again, you're coming to life. New desires are coming through, new inspirations, new nudges. I do feel like for some of you, you might be having to suppress this, or feeling like you have to suppress this, or are actively suppressing it. And it's not because you don't honor that, or you don't feel it or experience it or see it or sense it. It's because, again, you might be trying to keep things under wraps so as to not hurt people, so as to not leave a big wake, to leave a bunch of what's the word? Not casualties. Is that what I'm thinking of? Behind. Like, you don't want to be leaving too much pain. So you might be having to deny some of this to others, or just not be as like full blown in your excitement as you are about making this change. But I feel like that desire and that energy is there. Some of you may feel more passionate, more alive, even more sensual or sexual. And that's all coming to light and coming up for air, because you're finally honoring yourself and your deepest desire. So all of that's coming through. And again, you might be putting a little bit of a lid on it, because it's a little bit much to be like sort of walking around with that in your old shoes, or your old environments or whatever. Again, you won't be there for long. You are journeying out and venturing out on your own. Ultimately, what this brings you though is right now I feel like some of you are already making new connections. For some of you, I do feel like you found a new relationship. So if that's the case, that's what's showing up here. So for some of you, I feel like you are supported and you have some support in your corner to sort of nudge you along and support you to make these changes and keep taking those steps toward what it is you truly want for yourself. For some of you, though, this is also advice where if you don't have support in your corner, make sure you secure that. However, for most of you, a good majority, I'm feeling like you already have some people and voices and support in your corner, nudging you along, supporting you to make and take this leap. And I also feel like for some of you, as you begin to take these steps, you do meet people that are aligned with you. For some of you, you might be looking for a soul tribe. You might be looking for deep and valuable friendships. Like that's something that's important to you, or having a safety net or social network that truly honors who you truly are and what you are on the inside. Maybe everything else felt superficial, or it felt fake, or didn't feel real and aligned for you. Those people do come through. For some of you, it is a love interest, and this love interest is what has sort of plucked you from your old life and brought you forward into something new. So card pile 2, what dreams do you accomplish? You end up honoring your true spirit, your authentic desires, your inner nature. You end up working toward building a life that honors who you truly are and what you truly want. It doesn't feel like everything happens this year because this is a new beginning for you, but it feels like you accomplish the venturing out on your own, the trailblazing on your own, sort of taking those first steps on your own and beginning to build a good life and fulfilling life that truly honors what you want. This is you just sort of like puttering around and enjoying the simple pleasures and living a life that's true for you. And because it's true for you, it is that fulfilling. Like, even though it might not have a lot of bells and whistles, for some of you it will, because that energy comes through as soon as I say that. But for some of you, it may not even be like big fanciful things or like all these things have happened. It's enough for you, and you are fulfilled enough because you are now living true to your soul, true to your spirit, true to your heart, and that is enough for you. Yep. What is it? You become authentically you. You know, you're doing you. 2021 for card pile 2, it's all about honoring your authentic you, your authentic self, what you truly want, and you venture out to do that this year. You take the steps necessary in order to carve that path for yourself and to create a life that is truly and deeply fulfilling for you. So card pile 2, that is your reading. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your input. If you did like the reading, please do like, subscribe. You can share your story in the comments. I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching support to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. You can check out those details below, and I will see you next time. All right, card pile 3. What will you accomplish this year? I am filming this in 2021, so this could be relevant, for those of you who are watching now into the new year, but for those of you who watch later, this is timeless and it's relevant for when you watch. So card pile 3. What dreams will you accomplish this year? What will you accomplish? Okay, so you're seeing something through. You've had a project, a vision, a dream, a launch. You have had something that you've been working on for a while. There's been some serious endurance, some serious perseverance. You've been doing the darn thing, and you've been doing it for a while. You've been consistently working at it, almost to the point of like, oh my God, this is painful. Like, I've been working on this forever. And you do not seem like the person who's like overly concerned with like results and like seeing something tomorrow. You're not a person who believes in get rich quick and all that business. Like, it might feel nice and fanciful, sure, but you're the type of person who's pretty grounded and practical and real, and you've been putting in the time and the work and the effort and the energy, and you're like, all right, this might have been years, a decade for some of you. A decade for some of you, it feels like. But you've been putting in the work, and this year it comes to fruition. This year, I'm so excited to share with you. Very thrilled. It feels like such good, positive jubilation. Is that the word? It feels like really good energy in that way. There's big successes, but it's more of this vision that you've had for yourself. You see it all the way through this year. It happens. You're able to sort of experience the accolades or experience some rewards. You're able to experience some fruits of your labor, but you're seeing something through, and it almost feels like the completion of something, even though it might feel like the beginning of something too in a lot of ways. It feels like something has come through to fruition. Something has come through to completion. You have seen it all the way through card pile 3. I will say bravo to you. Bravo, because you finally are able to experience what you've worked so hard for. Now, for some of you, I'm feeling like this comes in the form of external rewards, abundance, successes, things like that. Like, you're finally seeing some serious fruits of your labor, you're seeing the harvest, you're seeing the bounty, and for a lot of you, it's going to be that. For some of you, I'm also feeling like you complete something. So it could be both, but it could also be one or the other, where you finally complete something. So maybe you've been working on something for a very long time. Maybe you've been working to launch something for a very long time, and you finally get it through to launch. But there's something here that you complete or bring to fruition, and it could come in the form of external results or the completion of a very large project, vision, or output of some kind, okay? So card pile 3, what are you accomplishing? So yeah, you've had to work through a lot of difficulty in terms of the patience that it took to get here and the efforts, and you've sort of navigated that in some graceful ways. And it doesn't mean that you haven't seen difficulty, because like I said, you have endured and you have persevered, but you have sort of worked through those obstacles. It was like whatever came up on your path, you worked through it, you transmuted it, you took it as a non-issue, more or less you kept going. You weren't going to be held back or held down by any one thing that came up on your path. You kept going. And it was like you were going to keep going no matter what, and you do see this to fruition this year. You did the thing, and you kept doing the thing. And again, you were one of those people that you were not going to be held down or held back. No matter what came up on your path, you used it to serve your vision. You used it to fuel your vision. I do feel like there were some trip ups on occasion, like maybe you got knocked down, boxing the ring, you got knocked out a couple of times. You've seen some hard days, but you got back up. That was the difference for you, card pile 3, is you didn't stay there and you didn't wallow for too long. You might have had a little self-pity here and there, right? You put some band-aids on your wounds, you licked your wounds, but then you got back up ultimately. Even if it took some time, even if it was effortful, even if you had to get some help, you made sure that you got back up and you kept moving forward. And because of that, you get to reap the rewards of that incredible perseverance, that incredible endurance of yours, where you were seeing it through no matter what. You get to see the end result of what endurance and perseverance brings to you. Now, there's this other card here that I feel like is showing up in 2 different ways, so I'm going to share on that. So for some of you, I feel like at times, you could have gotten a little lazy with it because it's relevant to that card of endurance, perseverance, but that you always came back. There also could be advice here, because I'm getting multiple different messages, so I'll try to share on all of them, to remember to enjoy the journey. Okay, so not to have to push and will and strive and effort so hard. You have been so focused on this, and that has been incredible, right? And it's going to bring you this fruit this year, and you finally get to see it all through. And yet you want to make sure that you, from here forward, that you're taking the time to enjoy yourself and stay healthy and honor your well-being and enjoy your life on the way up. Okay, so enjoy the journey as you go there, because if you are the type of person who just endures and perseveres, but just for the heck of it, a lot of times once you get to that result or that reward, it can feel a little bit empty, because it's like, wait, I worked all this time and this hard for this? Because even while it feels like a huge, massive celebration to you and a huge relief, actually, more than anything, it feels like a relief for a lot of you, which is awesome, because that means you can just get to, that's what it's saying, like you finally get to relax and let this go, because it's done and it's taken care of, and you're finally seeing it all happen and come to fruition for you. But it's like, now, use that lesson and carry it with you, integrate that for the future, so that from here forward, you can really enjoy the process of growing something. You can enjoy cultivating the garden. And a lot of gardeners, they don't expect the rose to blossom overnight, so they're happy to sort of tend to the soil and toil over time, and all of a sudden they have to do till the soil, this and that, all the things that are required. They're willing to do that because they enjoy the process, right? They enjoy the undertaking of it all, and so they're not out there as gardeners just for the fruit and for the blossoming flowers. They're there for the actual act of tilling the soil and making sure it gets sunlight and watering it. Like, they're there enjoying those little moments too. So you're just being given that reminder. It's not a warning. You're just being said, it's being asked of you, like, hey, you saw what it took to get here. From here forward, maybe try enjoying it a little bit more. Maybe try having some fun with it for the next thing that you give your attention to, or the next thing you go to focus on and bring to fruition. Have some fun, enjoy the journey on the way there. you'll recognize that it always comes through. If you stick to it, the result will always come. So now it'll give you some permission to relax, to lean back. And that was the final energy piece for this card, is to be able to lean back, sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Look at you getting to sort of, it's like reminds me a little bit of a fiesta, sitting back, enjoying the view, being able to relax, again, enjoy the fruits of your labor. You worked hard for this. So really savoring this, because what it feels like is you go on to choose new projects and choose new ventures and choose new things to set your eyes on. So it's like, don't miss this, you know, and I don't think you will. You're going to enjoy it. I already feel that for a lot of you. There's going to be a massive relief too, but it's like, enjoy it while you can, because things do change, go up and down, and you're going to be just starting to do something soon. So enjoy this while it's here, but this is the big payoff from a lot of the work that you've put in over the years. Yeah, so for a long time, you wondered if it was even going to happen for you. There were times that, again, you were knocked out, the box from the ring, bumped and bruised, and were kind of wondering and feeling maybe a little bit sorry for yourself, but you kept on going. You kept on honoring that impulse, honoring that nudge, honoring that inspiration, and you were seeing it through no matter what. So I really love that for you, that even though you did question yourself many times, this goes to show you, pile 3, this is the ultimate hero / heroine's journey, and you really did it. You really, really did it, and I'm really proud of you, even though I may not know you. Some of you, I might know you, and I am proud of you because you saw it through despite the hurdles, despite the hiccups, despite the challenges, and this goes to show not only you, but everyone else around you, that if you really set your eyes on something and really commit yourself to something, it will unfold no matter what. And you really saw it through all those disappointments, and you had something in you, this fortitude, the fortitude to keep going. Maybe not everyone has that. And so it's also an opportunity to be grateful for what you have and for who you are on the inside, and what you have that has sort of equipped you to be able to move through this hero / heroine's journey all the way through to the end. Most people never reach this finish line. So good for you. So yeah, it does feel like a rebirth for you in a lot of ways, because you're able to see that, oh, hey, things do happen, dreams do come true. It feels like you sort of graduate from the level or the chapter that you were in into more abundance, more rewards, more satisfaction, greater outcomes, greater successes, such that maybe the version of you before was, you know, very much embodying perseverance and strength and fortitude and endurance. And so that chapter was all about commitment and resolve and seeing something through and keep going and keep moving and get up again. And so you sort of got used to that, and now you get to experience another chapter, and this version is a graduation from that, such that you're able to experience a little bit more fruits of your labor. You're able to lean back a little bit. I don't feel like you end up leaning back for too long. You go toward new ventures, but remember, enjoy the journey. But for some of you, you will kind of allow yourself to lean back, to really enjoy this and to savor this. It's a rebirth from one matrix to the next level, right? It's a next level for you. So you graduate from the old limitation into this next level, and you're really enjoying this experience and seeing how it all led up here. You're able to see things more clearly. You're able to see things in hindsight, how it all had to happen just the way that it did. Life was always bringing you exactly what you needed to get what you want. You just find a sense of completion, a sense of pride, a sense of joy, a sense of fulfillment, and a sense of, wow, really things do work out, dreams do come true, and that it was all working in my favor, and that you trust the timing of life too. It gives you a newfound level of trust, such that you can say, now I see why things happen the way that they do and in the timing that they do, because it makes perfect sense that I'm experiencing this now and not at another time. So you find some greater trust and faith in life too. Yeah. So everything that you've wanted now comes about into your hands. So everything that was like a far off dream for so long is now seated in your lap. So that's what I'm seeing here for the Buddha. It's landed in your lap. All the things that you've dreamt of, considered, thought might happen, expect might happen, whatever, over the years, because a lot of you have dedicated a lot of time and energy, effort, and output into this, it suddenly lands in your lap, and it feels like it was out of nowhere, and yet you know exactly where it came from because you work for this baby. But it lands in your lap, and you're truly able to enjoy this harvest, this bounty. And again, you find that sense of completion, even that sense of relief. You're able to lean back and give yourself permission to really enjoy and savor this. It's very satisfying for you, and I'm so happy for you. So card pile 3, what do you accomplish? You accomplish and experience some major fruits of your labor here. You're reaping what you've sown, and you are able to live it up and lean back a little bit this year and really see everything that you've worked so hard for. So bravo to you. Very happy for you, card pile 3. Do let me know if this resonates. Please do like and subscribe if that's the case. Share your story in the comments below. I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions and other programs to support you in your life, in your work, and your spiritual path. So if that resonates, you can check out those details below. Thank you, card pile 3. All right, card pile 4. What do you accomplish this year? And I'm filming this in the beginning of 2021, so this may be relevant for all those who are watching now, but this is a timeless reading. So this will also be relevant for you when this lands in your lap in the future. So card pile 4, what do you accomplish? Okay, so you've been moving through a healing period. You might even call this a dark period of your life, a dark night of the soul, but you're coming out of that. So you're transitioning and shifting out of that darker, deeper period where you were doing some inner growth work, maybe some shadow work, but you were doing some deep healing. So maybe you experienced a dark night of the soul or tower moment, as they call it in the tarot. If you don't know what that is, please do look it up. But one way or another, you ended up, whether an external circumstance brought it on or it was just something inside of you that was spurred and brought this forward, you were doing some deeper healing and shedding some old layers and limitations that are supporting you to experience more in this lifetime. So I'm feeling like whether you subscribe to past life or not, when I say past life, you can see this as your childhood and where you came from and your origins, or you can see it as well to resonate with or to be about or relevant to past lives. But I do have the past life card here, and so it could be relevant that it was past life, but you were going through some healing around your childhood, healing around maybe some familial, like family related or generational cycles, but other limitations. So there was something that you were sort of carrying into this life if you do subscribe to the belief in past lives. But this was something that your soul, it feels like, really wanted to release or liberate you from in this lifetime. It feels like it's been something, and you can just say it's childhood for you if you don't believe in that. But it feels like this is long-standing, and it's been something you carried with you for many lifetimes, and you were meant to be free of it. So if you've been dealing with some deep, heavy, intense, difficult journeying, what's the word that it was coming up for me though? Not landscape. We'll see, but we'll see if it comes up. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a particular word. I do like to match the energy with a perfect pinpointed word. I am a wordsmith. I will aim to be and endeavor to be, but in this moment it's not coming to me, so we'll see if it comes up. But you have traversed some difficulty, and please know it was about you once and for all clearing some old limitation, clearing some old baggage that has continued to follow you for maybe even eons, but lifetimes, and if not lifetimes, in this lifetime, you've just been carrying it, and your soul was like, we're throwing this baby out with the bathwater. Like, we're done. You've done this for too darn long. And so it was almost like you had to see, or you went through a series of trials and tribulations that were really deep, really intense, really heavy for you, that may have felt even out of character for your life, meaning that maybe your life didn't have that many trials before, and or you had so many in such a short amount of time, but something happened that blew everything wide open, and the reason that it did is because it needed to blow wide open. You needed to release this once and for all, this ghost of the past. I actually have a lot of emotion. So for some of you, and it came so quick, right? But it's like, this was a ghost. And it's interesting that specifically it's coming up, and I think it is because it was pointing to something that happened in the past that's not even relevant for you now. It wasn't even relevant for this lifetime. You're carrying something that's not even relevant, something you shouldn't even be carrying. You don't even have to carry. It is not and was never your cross to bear. I do feel like for some lifetimes it was your cross to bear, and for whatever reason you held on to it. There was a spiritual lesson there. There was a journey that you wanted to move through or navigate or learn and grow from. Your soul wanted to experience that contrast for some reason. I'm not getting the information as to why, but there was a specific reason, maybe in your history or a specific period of time that is long since over. Your soul did not say you were experiencing that in this life. This human was meant to liberate you from those things. You were meant to live a more liberated, more abundant life. And what I mean by abundance here is like breaking free from and breaking through old limitations that might have been present in previous lives for specific soul-guided reasons. Sometimes we just carry our karma from the past, and it's like we carry that karma in, and yet we have a particular mission in this life that isn't even relevant to that stuff. So you weren't even supposed to like make that a part of your path or make it become a part of your path or even manifest any of that stuff. This life was all about breaking free from and breaking through those limitations of the past, not owning and inheriting and identifying with that shit. That's a ghost from the past. It's haunting you, but it's not real, it's not true, it's not relevant, and you have to let that go. I do feel like though you are letting it go or have already let it go. But it was important for this message to come through for you, card pile 4, to see what was happening. Those sort of like what was happening underneath the hood, like what were those dynamics, or what was it? What is this pattern? Or you went through this deep, difficult, dark period, and it's like what wants to come through here, it wants to be known and revealed to you. This is a ghost from the past. It was haunting you, but it's not relevant. You can wipe that slate clean. Bye, Felicia. And I feel like a lot of you have already come out on the other side. You're even aware of that. Maybe not aware this deep of all the psycho-spiritual components and the karmic part of this and the soul or past life part of this. But please know, this lifetime you were meant to experience something different, something novel. You weren't meant to experience those limitations. It's like you've already paid your dues. You've already done that. You've already ran that race. You've already traversed those trails. You said you were doing something different because you've already experienced all of that. You've already done that. You've paid your dues. You've walked that path. Your soul wanted you to experience an unlimited or limitless reality, and yet sometimes you can get caught up and still agreeing to those old limitations because it feels so familiar. It feels like it's a part of you. It feels like, oh, this is who I am. Because you've walked that path for so long, and in previous lifetimes, you've subscribed to that reality and to that limitation or to that matrix. But it's like, no. Your soul actually came here to not live any of that this time, because for souls, right, they can take many forms and live in many paths and many bodies. And it's like after they've done like the limiting, impoverished, not realizing my potential, living in suffering and all that kind of stuff, it often will take a lifetime that says, I'm living it up this time and breaking through that shit and living freely. That's what this lifetime is and was for. So please own that. This is all coming from just those first 2 cards. Okay. Again, this is, you are meant to break through whatever it is that you experienced. And it wasn't even like, some things might have brought all of this stuff to the surface. I don't feel like you experienced the deepest, darkest wound or trauma that you could. Some of you might have, and I'm feeling that as I say that. However, a lot of this stuff was brought through from another life and is no longer relevant for you, or was never relevant for you in this particular lifetime. Okay. So, let me see what else is coming through here. There's a lot for those first 2 cards. So I'm moving into the next layer or level of the reading, and I want to see what's saying here. 1 second. Yeah, so you're meant to experience the bounty, the harvest. That's what's here for you this lifetime. There's golden honey, like the golden honey of abundance. Like you're meant to experience that, not this deep, dark, intense void that you've sort of maybe locked into, bound yourself to, chained yourself to, or just simply tethered yourself to because you've experienced it in the past. Kind of carrying it with you, but that's not what you were meant to experience this lifetime. You were meant to experience something a little bit lighter, a little bit freer. Again, that abundance, but again, it doesn't feel like abundance like a bunch of like material possessions, although that could be true for some of you. It feels like freedom. It feels like limitlessness. It feels like you can do whatever the heck you want. It feels like let yourself do what you want. It feels like giving yourself permission to live free. Give yourself permission to live fully. Give yourself permission to experience all the things that you really couldn't in previous lives because your life was more impoverished, right? It was narrower. And so this life was about blowing through that, blowing the lid of all of that, not living narrow anymore, not living this sort of very narrow life of limitation or poverty or impoverishedness, whether it was emotional or material impoverishment. You were meant to experience more. And that's what you're here to do in this life. You keep seeing it as like a dream that's not going to happen for you, or a long lost daydream, like what it is that you see for yourself. It's almost like you have this dream and you kind of know what you're meant for and what you're meant to do or what you're meant to create and experience. And again, somehow, some way you end up subscribing to this old reality or to this old ghost, this ghost that haunts you that actually isn't true. That's a limitation. It is not true. That is not what's meant for you. You are meant for more. You have to give yourself permission to realize that, to experience it, to manifest it, okay? It's going to be different from your previous lives or from your history, and so that's why it feels uncomfortable. It feels unfamiliar, so it feels like it's not for you, but it's actually, that's just your comfort zone. That's just your karma speaking. It's just where you came from. You're meant to break through that shell. You're meant to break through that membrane. It's like, again, it feels like a matrix that you've kind of put these limits on yourself, but it's not true. That was just stuff that you inherited from previous lives or from your childhood. And you're actually meant to break through that and experience something different than what you experienced before. Oftentimes the soul wants to experience something different, new conditions, new circumstances, not live the same old way, the same old narrowed path. Because what comes for you ultimately is that success. The success that you know is meant for you, the destiny that you know is meant for you, that happens for you in this life. It happens for you. Now, I do feel like there is this advice, right? And it even shows it right here for, maintaining faith and trusting the process. But I'm feeling like it goes deeper than that, because it's like, it's just waiting for you. The faith is in just trusting the process, trusting the flow, trusting what wants to come to you. It's like, you don't actually even have to be that patient for what you want. You can claim it at any point in time. It's here and available for you, because it's what your soul has always wanted for you anyway. And yet you're the one who's holding yourself back based on these old limitations, based on this old comfort zone, based on what feels familiar, and just based on this hungry ghost that you've been identifying that actually isn't even real. It came up for you recently or on these trials and tribulations of your life so that you could surrender it, release it, clear it once and for all, and really reclaim or claim this success for yourself, because actually this is what's meant for you. This manifestation, this level of abundance, this level of success, that's what's meant for you, not the limited reality that you've been subscribing to. Because what happens here? So it feels like here right now, it's already underway, but it's going to continue to manifest as you have new birth coming in. You're feeling like the inner kind of roots that are growing and planting themselves. That there's already a seed there, but it's growing roots. You're watering it, you're cultivating it. It's asking you just to continue doing that. I do feel like many of you manifest or bring about or end up in a soulmate connection, partnership. So I'm getting that for many of you in card pile 4, but I'm also getting, ultimately you end up manifesting a reality that honors all parts of you, mind, body, spirit. Also what it is you want for yourself on all levels. Like you create a life that is in perfect alignment with who you are on the inside, with what you ultimately want, with what your soul wanted you to experience when you came here. It wants you to experience all the accolades, all the successes, all those outcomes. It wants you to experience that. This lifetime was about getting what you want. This lifetime, that's actually what it is, was about getting what you want. And this year you do. This year, even more importantly, for many of you, or for some of you, it's you finally give yourself permission to experience what you want. Because this lifetime, you came here to experience what you want, not to experience the contrast. You've already done that for plenty of lifetimes or for your childhood. Now it's about getting what you want, giving yourself permission to do so. So this year you do so, and not only do you experience greater outcomes, successes, abundance, the kind of stuff that you have wanted for yourself but denied yourself of because you were kind of subscribing to old stories and the history and the karma and all of that, but you bring about a soulmate connection. For many of you, you will bring about a soulmate connection this year. If not in the very near future, it feels very much this year for a lot of you, but it also feels like a life in full alignment with your soul. That your soul brings forward, I'm seeing that mirrored here reflection, your soul begins to able to look and see itself manifested in your everyday life because you've finally given yourself permission and reclaimed or claimed the desires that you have for yourself. You've decided to liberate yourself from the old karmic ties or the bondage from the past or the history that haunts you and maybe impoverished realities in previous lives or your early childhood. This lifetime is all about getting what you want, so go get it, baby. So that's your reading, card pile 4. If this lands and resonates for you, I encourage you to like and subscribe, share your story in the comments. I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching support to support you in your life, in your work, on your spiritual path. You can check out those details below, and I will see you next time.